The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
Happy Black History Month, y'all. I know it's over, but Black History Month is every month for me. I don't care. And if you couldn't tell by the title or the intro video, today's video is about Black women and the Black woman's plight. If you do not know the definition of plight, here it is. I have a lot of things to discuss regarding this topic, and I wrote it all down in my handy dandy notebook. So let's get into it. Thank you, Oxford, by way of Google, for the definition of plight, which can be simplified to an unfortunate situation. I hate to even associate unfortunate with Black women. However, I feel like it is important to highlight and emphasize that it is unfortunate how Black women are treated. Whether it be locally, nationally, or internationally, Black women have faced so much hardship, and we are the only ones there to pick ourselves up at the end of it all. Point one that I wanted to make, I'm gonna put my book up here so that I can see it better. Black women have so many expectations placed upon us, and I'm just gonna start saying we because I am a Black woman, so I don't have to keep saying Black women. Not that I don't like saying Black women, because I love Black women. But we are expected to be so many things. Everything everywhere all at once. Type shit. We are expected to be strong, both physically and mentally. We have to deal with everything, whether it be good or bad, and we are expected to say nothing about it. We are expected to carry the weight of the world, even when it could feel like our own personal world is crushing us. We still have to carry everybody else on our backs. And like I said, we're expected to say nothing. We're expected to stay silent. Don't mention the pain you're going through, whether it be physical, emotional, or mental. Don't complain, whether you have too much or too little. Don't complain. Just be grateful. Be grateful. That's it. And don't express dislike or disdain. That one is really sensitive too, because Black women are often so depicted as like bitter and uptight and hateful, and that's a whole other thing. We are also expected to be servient. And if you don't know the definition of servient, here it is. Servient is the characteristic of a servant or subordinate. And here is the definition of subservient. I feel like both apply, but more so subservient because we have to unquestioningly cater to everybody. We have to serve everybody. We are supposed to cater to the world's needs, and we're supposed to be homemakers, meaning we have to take care of everybody outside our house, and we have to take care of our house too. We are expected to be soft. The angry Black woman trope perpetuates stereotypes of us being angry and us not being able to be nice and soft and pleasant, especially with this whole soft life luxury trend that's been going on the past year or so. Black women are being judged for trying to jump in on the trend. Not even trying, for jumping in on the trend and showing their soft life and their luxury lifestyles. Black women are not expected to have nice things and be appreciative of nice things. We're often depicted as angry, loud, ghetto, and I put that word in quotes because what gets passed off as ghetto is sometimes just inherently Black. And people who don't understand Black culture categorize things in ways that fits their brain capacity. You know what I mean? And like the Malcolm X clip says, we are often disrespected. Honestly, I do agree that we're the most disrespected people on the earth, because this is another point that I want to bring up later down the line, but Black trans women are women. They are Black women. They are completely disrespected, invalidated, abused, murdered, all that. Not to say that cis Black women aren't, okay? Because that's the thing. It happens to Black women overall. And that is the problem at hand. There's a whole bunch of violence and hatred towards Black women. It's undeserved, unnecessary, unsafe, I'm trying not to get worked up over this, but it is a passionate topic for me because I am a Black woman. And as a Black woman raised by a Black woman who was raised by a Black woman, knowing what each generation has dealt with, my great grandmother, to this day, we don't know her real age. But according to this document that I'm about to show you guys, she got married at 20, which we know to be false because my grandfather was almost 10 years older than her. I don't want to say she was forced into marrying him, but it was in the 1930s, 1940s. Nobody is protecting Black women. Nobody is saying, sweetie, are you safe? Is this something you actually 100% want to do? Are you sure you want to do this? This is the document. This is their marriage certificate. Of course, some things are going to be crossed out because y'all need to know every single thing, but I'm just showing this for the purpose of age and time period. And then to move later on down the line, my grandmother was born in the 50s, right before the rise of the civil rights movement. And we know what happened there. Even in the civil rights movement, which goes into a whole bunch of other things, but even in the civil rights movement, there was discrimination towards Black women. And I don't mean that in the obvious sense. I mean that within our own community. If you've never heard of Claudette Colvin, they successfully did their job. Because Claudette Colvin was a 16-year-old pregnant Black girl. She was the first Black woman to refuse a white person her seat on the bus. But much like now, 16 and pregnant should not be commercialized or promoted. Of course, teen pregnancy is not fun. It's not cute. No shade. Sorry if that has happened to you, but if you could have avoided it, I'm sure you would have. Like I said, no shade. I'm not trying to be funny or anything. This is just the reality of the way the world works. It doesn't matter the race. Teen pregnancy is cuckoo, okay? But either way, she was also dark skinned. And she did not fit the movement. She could not be the face of the movement because she didn't fit the description of a Black woman that they thought was worthy of protecting. She was carrying life inside of her. And they did not think that she was worth promoting or protecting. Then, aside from all that, we got the feminist movement. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the feminist movement started in the 1920s because of the World War and women being left home. The word feminism was first coined in 1837 by a French philosopher, and it originally referred to feminine qualities or character. Then came about women's suffrage movement in July 1848. Now, mind you, think about that time, July 1848. Black women were still seen as property. What suffrage were we a part of? We were seen as property. We were seen as like cattle. We were not protected in the women's suffrage movement. Okay? That's just first of all. And like I said, let's keep in mind that this does not include Black women. Then there was the suffrage parade of 1913. And we know about Susan B. Anthony. Thank you for being on the coin, grow. And then in 1920, the 19th Amendment was passed, giving women the right to vote. Woohoo, right? Then we have a new wave of feminism from the 1960s to the 1980s called the women's movement or women's liberation. In the years before this, a lot more academic studies were put out talking about sex and sexuality, and a lot of taboos around women began to go away because these things are being talked about now. They're being brought to the forefront. You know, I guess it's not as shameful as we thought. In 1961, it was discovered that American women had far fewer rights or economic opportunities than men. What a surprise. They were paid less for some jobs, for the same jobs. Am I mistaken, or isn't that happening right now? Terms like sexism and sexual harassment were coined around this time as well. And then there was the third wave of feminism, which brings in intersectionality. And it started in the 1990s with the Riot Girl movement and Anita Hill's very public sexual harassment case. And then from then to now, we do have the word intersectionality, which so beautiful, so great. But I do want to emphasize that feminism has been around like I said before, feminism existed before Black American women existed as human beings, as citizens in this country. Before we were counted as citizens, we were counted as property. So when feminism was coined, we were not thought of at all. Then comes the womanism movement. If you don't know what womanism is, here's the definition. I think this is the most informative video I've done on my channel. And I actually love content like this because I like learning things and stuff. I'm subscribed to a lot of people who actually talk about real life issues and stuff like that. So I fuck with it. Let me know if y'all do in the comments. The term womanist was coined by author and activist Alice Walker in her 1982 publication, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, Womanist Prose. So that word wasn't even heard until however many, editing, Lauren, do the math on how many years from the origin of feminism to the coining of the term womanism. If I'm not mistaken though, it's like 120 years, but still do the math and put it right here. Okay, girl? All right, girl, I got you. But yes, Alice Walker coined that term, denoting a movement within feminism, primarily championed by Black feminists. Why? Because Black women have to have our own backs. And then to go back in time again, when we were enslaved, not only did they have breeding plantations to profit off of our wombs, but a lot of Black women that were enslaved were sexually assaulted and had to carry on with that pregnancy. And I might hurt some people's feelings with this, but that is one of the origins of biracial people. I'm not gonna use the slur, but hey, Ms. Lotto, no shade. And even when we were pregnant from our own interrelationships, you know what I mean, we were wet nurses, meaning Black women were breastfeeding their, I shouldn't use quotes because that's what they were called, but they were breastfeeding their master's wives' children when they were born. And nannies from infant to whenever them babies leave the house. And I was talking about this the other day with Bestiana. But how are y'all seeing us as not even a human being, but you want us to breastfeed your kids? You want us to feed your kids. You want us to bathe your kids and all this type of stuff, but y'all don't even see us as humans. You don't trust me to go live on my own. Not even trust. You don't want me to go live out on my own, but you want me to put my own breast milk into your child. Y'all use our hair for furniture, our skin, so many things, okay? And I feel uncomfortable with that fact because now I always think back to, well, then what happened with the kids they had? Like, did they have enough breast milk for their own kids? And even then, it's like they probably, like, the emotional toll it takes, the mental toll. I can't imagine having to breastfeed a baby of somebody who doesn't even see me as a human being, and I'm not getting compensated for this. And if I don't do it, I could possibly lose my life or end up severely hurt, or I could end up away from this place and not see my family and my loved ones and my friends. It's a painful history, and that is why Black History Month should be celebrated more openly and more overtly, because Black people not only built this country but suffered all the while. The way I wrote this down, it's not in like a chronological order. So, oh, my handwriting look kind of cute, don't it? But it's not chronological, so I am going to skip around a bit. In the sense of Black women having to take care of children that weren't even ours, we've also had to take care of our men. And now listen, my father is a Black man. He's Jamaican, but he's a Black man. I've dated Black men. I have Black brothers, Black cousins, Black uncles. I love Black men. I worry about Black men. I truly do wish for and advocate for safety of Black men and the protection of Black men and the uplifting of Black men. However, I do not think the sole purpose of a Black woman is to uplift and uphold that Black man. If you want to, That is perfectly fine. If it is too much for you to carry, that is perfectly fine. We are expected to uplift and uphold Black men and protect them, but oftentimes we do not get that reciprocated. To bring this into pop culture, let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion. No, let's not even talk about Megan Thee Stallion. Let's talk about Megan Pete. Megan Pete was shot by Tory Lanez, something date Morningstar. Ain't that his name? Something Morningstar? Megan Pete was shot. Allegedly, let me clear it up because I don't feel like y'all little morning starlights coming in my comments trying to blast me over what this man did or did not do. Either way, the adversity that Miss Megan has been met with just for sharing her truth when she didn't even want to in the first place. She was not going to say anything in the first place. Black women are expected to stay what? Silent. She was not going to say anything out of fear, out of discomfort, out of trying to be mindful and considerate of the suspects. And to me, that breaks my heart because so many of us do that. So many of us are so afraid to share our truth and share our story because, for one, you want to make sure everybody is safe and at peace. You don't want to disturb anybody's peace. But two, we are oftentimes invalidated. So many people, both civilians and celebrities, have come to this internet to invalidate this woman's experience and tell her she has lied about what has happened to her. And this is not to dismiss the truth that there are women who have lied and told, you know, lies about people doing things to, around, for, with them. But that does not mean every single woman is lying. Like, let's just be realistic here. Why would so many women go through the trouble of lying about what has happened to them? Honestly, what good does that do? Exactly. Drake, Aubrey, Aubrey Graham has went from, he used to be a Megan fan, and I'm gonna tell you from my opinion, I feel like he tried to hit it, she said boy bye, he got mad. He went from beefing with Tory Lanez to now talking about free you on his story. But he has been throwing a lot of subs at Megan. He has been throwing a lot of subs at Megan. And my thing is, once again, what does she have to lie for? And two, you was just not liking this dude. Y'all had a years long beef, if I'm not mistaken, and now y'all buddy buddy because you don't like this woman, this all Black woman, both Black parents, 4 Black grandparents. This is not to let me shut up. But my point is, she has not been protected or uplifted. And if this was a Black man that got shot, I can guarantee you the outrage would be so much louder. And even with another pop culture reference, everything with Sean Combs, I'm not even going to say that stage name, whichever one, because there's like a million now. Cassie came out with her truth. Mr. Combs paid whatever he had to pay to get the case dismissed. He chose a few days or weeks later to deny the allegations on Instagram. However, in the eyes of the public, and I'm pretty sure in the eyes of the court, a payment is somewhat an admission of guilt. But either way, she came out with her story, several accounts of abuse and assault and just straight up terrorizing. People said she was lying. People said she was lying for money. And people called her a gold digger. If it was so bad, why did she stay? She was a teenager when she met him, and he was almost 40. Have you ever heard of grooming? If you haven't heard of grooming, here's the definition. Either way, she was faced with adversity, severe adversity, and she chose to speak up when she could have been backed into a corner and forced to stay silent. And She was brave enough to take that leap and share her truth. And y'all said she was lying. Now it's coming out that he has male victims. And y'all are focused more on the fact that that is homosexual activity than the fact that the man is an abuser, a serial abuser. And then it's like, so y'all believe it now? But instead of actually saying this man is just a bad guy, you focused on him being not straight. And to go back to what my point, it's so weird how when it's a black man, it's like even if he does something wrong, because he's successful, we gotta hush hush so he could stay successful. Because there's not many black men that can make it out the hood. It's not many black men that can have that level of success and fame. And while that is true, that does not mean we need to protect them. In all honesty, no bad person should be protected, regardless of race. It doesn't matter if they grew up eating dirt. If they grow up to be a bad person, they are a bad person. A spade is a spade. And yeah, we are expected to hold up black men, but they do not return the favor. Sometimes they do. I'm not going to act like all black men are just treacherous like that, but it is seldom seen. It is seldom seen. Black women have so many expectations because as a woman in general, there are so many societal expectations we have. And then when you're black, it's an extra ounce of like, if you knew better, you do better. Like, it's respectability politics, if anything. Because we're black, we gotta go above and beyond in manners and morals and all that type of stuff. We cannot be too nice because then we're seen as friendly, fast, all that type of stuff. And we can't be mean because we'll be called a bitch or whatever else they want to call us. And to go in with that, we are over sexualized our whole lives. We could go outside in a sweatsuit, still be catcalled. We could go outside in floss. We will, of course, be catcalled because people feel like they have claim and entitlement to our bodies. And especially if you show it off. If you show it off, you're asking for it, right? The first time I was catcalled, I believe I was 11 or 12. And by this point, I had already faced sexual assault. So I knew men were looking. This is taking a somber turn. But I knew men were looking. I was uncomfortable, but what could I really do? And I've been sexualized ever since. And I've had partners, both male and female, be like, oh, I don't want you to wear this outside because the men are going to stare at you and they're going to say this and they're going to say that. And I just be like, look, I've been dealing with it my whole life. I already know that. I just want to wear what I want to wear. It makes me feel cute. It makes me feel good. That's what matters. They're going to stare. They're going to talk regardless. We're over sexualized and often masculinized. Um, if you're a tall, muscular, or tall, thick black woman, you're often going to be compared to a man or a gorilla, which is inherently racist and by way colorist. But that's another point of mine. But like people feel so entitled to talk about our bodies and our appearance. We wear too much makeup. We wear too much makeup. That's a bad thing. We don't wear makeup. We boring. We not grown. We not mature. We not classy. We don't know how to carry ourselves. We wear our natural hair. It's nappy. We wear weaves. You want to be like a white girl. And the sexualizing of black women, if I'm not mistaken, stems back all the way to slavery. I remember learning about a woman named Sarah Bartman. This is Sarah Bartman. There are obvious things to notice, yes. But do they have to be sexual? No. Why? Because butts without plastic surgery are natural. Obviously, girl, duh. But like, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Whether it be a cupcake or a 7-layer pound cake, a butt is a butt. It's just muscle, fat, and tissues and all that stuff. Unless you paid for it, you did not ask for it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm getting disgusted if y'all couldn't tell. We are faced with universal invalidation, which I got into touch with the upholding and uplifting of Black men. Um, and that actually goes to another point that I forgot to bring up because I skipped over. But Black women are severely invalidated in the medical field. There are so many books and articles and blog posts and videos regarding Black women's health and how severely undervalued we our lives are. Studies were conducted on our bodies way back, and they determined we have thicker skin, so they use bigger needles on us. They determined we have a higher pain threshold, so they're not as gentle with us. And oftentimes, when we express symptoms we are facing, we are told it'll be okay, just go take some medicine, or whatever they feel like telling us to get us out the door. It's such an irritating thing to think about, but it's the harsh reality we live in. And if you didn't know any of these things, I'm glad I could educate you, but I want you to know how hard it really is being a Black woman on a daily basis. We are met with so much adversity from the whole world and within our own community, to the point where it's like, what the fuck can we really do? We're the only community we have. And then, you know what makes it worse? Even within us, Black women can be so divisive and hateful towards each other, which goes into my next point. Colorism, texturism, fat phobia and body shaming, ableism, self-hate. I feel like I forgot some. Transphobia. That's another one. Homophobia too, I guess. But see, and that's where it gets blurry, because queer women, as long as they are feminine or femme presenting, they're okay with men. They're okay with the world. That's hot. But bring in a masculine presenting woman. Bring in a woman who's had a mastectomy because she didn't want no titties. You know? Whoa, hold up now. If you don't know what colorism is, here's the definition of colorism. Colorism dates back to colorism goes back to slavery, if you couldn't guess that. This is honestly a hard topic to discuss. A little personal anecdote. When I was younger, I hated my skin tone. And right now, I'm actually a little pale. It's wintertime. I live in a very cold area, so I don't get much sun anyway. But as a child, I hated my skin tone. I was bullied for not only for my skin tone, but I have eczema and I'm allergic to fake jewelry and nickel and stuff like that. So I used to break out from wearing belt buckles. Fake earrings, fake necklaces, like little Claire's jewelry and stuff like that. And my skin would turn black. Like, I know I'm black, yeah, but my skin would turn black. And I got called burnt oftentimes. Also, if you can't tell by the way I talk, oftentimes I got called a white girl. But that has nothing to do, well, actually it does have to do with my complexion, because they called me a burnt Oreo. Mind you, Oreos are already like borderline black, but I guess because of my eczema, I was burnt. I also got called burnt fried chicken. It's okay if y'all laugh, because people are childish. So you probably did laugh. Thank you if you didn't. But I was called a lot of things, a lot of names. I was picked on, and I hated my complexion. I wanted to look like Raven Simone, honestly, Simone. I wanted to be light skinned with like hazel or green eyes. I felt so undesirable. I felt so ugly, and like I didn't think I was worthy of love or admiration or appreciation. I was self-hating. I was. And then to go into the texturism, I wanted hair like Raven Simone. Not understanding or really realizing that a lot of times she had extensions. She could have even had a perm for all I know. But most often than not, the hair I was seeing on her was not hers, or not fully hers. But my young, naive brain was not processing or understanding or even thinking about stuff like that. You know what I mean? And like, I just remember begging my mom. I used to always want straight hair. I used to always want really long. I had long hair, but I always wanted really long hair, straight. Um, and I wanted to be light skinned with light eyes. And I guess I wanted my hair to be like light brown. I really wanted to look like Raven Simone, okay? Let's just put it like that. And my mom did a very beautiful job, excellent job, stellar job of teaching me self-love and teaching me the things about being a black woman that for one I didn't know or didn't know enough about to understand the value and significance. There was the paper bag test that was going around for some time. It still goes around if you ask me. Colorism and texturism are so ingrained into our people that people operate in it without even realizing it sometimes. My thing is, if you're unaware of these biases that you operate in, I get it. But it is our responsibilities to educate ourselves and unlearn all these toxic things, all right? And it's so weird because I feel like all black hair is beautiful. Black hair to me is magical. Black hair can defy gravity. No other race has hair that can stick out like this and not fall, or stick up like this and not fall naturally. We might put a little hairspray to keep it there, but if we pick it out or blow it out, do whatever we gotta do, we can literally shape our hair. I'm gonna find the name of the creator, but this beautiful black woman makes so many shapes with her hair. My favorite, I think, is the star because it reminds me of Steven's universe. But she's made Hello Kitty out of her own freaking hair. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. That's so freaking awesome. And like our hair shrinks. The shrinkage, first of all, I feel like somehow that's an enemy plot. Like somebody somewhere did something with our DNA to have it to where our hair shrink like that. Because why is my hair right here straight, but when I wash it, it's up here? That's bizarre. But that shit cool though. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes it gets on my nerves. Sometimes it gets on my nerves, but that's cool. That is so cool. That's unique. And we should embrace that. If you're not familiar, we do now have the Crown Act to protect against discrimination of black hair in the workforce. Now with the fat shaming and the body shaming and fat phobia, which I kind of already discussed. Fat black women are not protected and they are seen as undesirable oftentimes. I don't know how to I'm trying not to offend people. And honestly, it gets so hard nowadays with all the language and stuff, but I do try my best to educate myself. And it's just on working on being proactive about words I use and being as harmless as possible. But fat phobia runs so rampant in this world and it's so weird because as the fattest nation, why are we so fat phobic? We eat so unhealthy. And my thing is, it's not entirely by choice because especially in black neighborhoods. Oh, that's another thing, but that's about black people in general. Redlining has set it up to where our neighborhoods are inherently and institutionally less than. We don't have good quality grocery stores. We don't have good quality food. Everything is fast food, liquor store, check cash in place, Chinese food, all that type of stuff. We're kind of backed into a corner of not being able to be proactive about our health because not only do they not believe us in the hospitals and the doctor's offices, but the food we are given. If we want organic and healthy and stuff like that, we got to go out of way and out of pocket. And a lot of times, black people are not making enough to support eating healthier. And fat phobia to me is kind of like it's just like damn because realistically fat people have always existed. Like I'm not gonna act like I've never been fat phobic ever in my life because I definitely have been, but I'm unlearning those biases. And also what really strikes me as like ironically funny, not really funny, not funny haha funny weird, is that back in the day, being fat was seen as a sign of wealth because you're eating a lot because you can afford to. Great, good for you, yippee. And then that goes into the whole how white people stopped using seasonings because they realized that we were using seasonings and they felt like they were better than us, so they had to not use seasonings and in turn started eating bland ass food. Anyway, fat phobia comes in many tiers because there are fat people who are fat phobic. And then there are people who are fat phobic because they feel like fat people don't deserve the same opportunities they do, especially regarding like romance. For some reason, skinny, thick, thin, slim, thick, fit black women feel like fat black women have to do more to be desired by a partner. It's you better know how to cook if you that big and stuff like that. So ridiculous. And with body shaming, I said body shaming separately from fat phobia because I'm not gonna lie, people don't like it when you talk about this, but skinny shaming is kind of a thing. I grew up in Caribbean slash Southern cultures. Southern meaning down South America. And either way, I was hearing about how skinny I was. Oh, you look like a wet t-shirt on a wire hanger. My grandma on my dad's side, eat it all up, eat it all up. You not eat? And my grandmother on my mom's side, Lauren, when are you gonna get some? You looking like you losing weight. Are you depressed? Are you anorexic? I've been asked if I'm anorexic because I'm so skinny. Sometimes my weight fluctuates, but that's not the point. And that goes back into everything else I've been saying. It's like people are never satisfied with a black woman's appearance. You either too skinny, you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too short, you're ugly, you wear too much makeup, you don't wear makeup, you're dressed like a slut, you're dressed like a prude. It's so much. But yeah, body shaming is so real. And then we have the whole thing of like body shaming in terms of clothes. Fat women, people don't like it when they wear crop tops and mini skirts and all that type of stuff. I support it because I'm like, shit, if they make it and you're so, you might as well wear it. And I just feel like if it makes you happy and it makes you feel confident and it makes you feel comfortable, what everybody else thinks should not matter, and it does not matter. As someone who dresses for myself and my preferences on what I like to look like, I could not give less of a fuck about how next person feel about what I got on my body. You ain't pay for it. You ain't make it. It don't matter how you feel. But yeah, if a skinny black girl wears this outfit, it's fine. But if a fat black girl wears this outfit, who does she think she is? She doing too much. That's nasty. All this type of disgusting stuff. And it's just funny to me because either way, it's a crop top and a mini skirt. The only difference is some thickness on this side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then we have ableism. I do feel like disabled women are not even talked about enough. And I think it's because there's such a specific group of women that people, and this is no offense, I'm speaking opinion and from my perspective, I feel like people tend to count them out and not consider them as a part of womanhood, if that makes sense. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's hard to articulate it. But basically, from my perspective and in my opinion, disabled women are just thought of as disabled and they're not seen as women. You know what I mean? So in conversations of a woman's plight, they're not even thought of sometimes because people don't consider them. And that's a part of the problem, the lack of consideration for disabled women. Over the past month, I have seen, I think, 3 videos of women women that are in wheelchairs having to carry themselves upstairs because elevators are broken or ramps are taken up by able-bodied people and stuff like that. That's ridiculous. That's shameful and ridiculous. And as a society, disabled people exist. We should have so much more accessibility for them. Like, that's just what it is. We also deal with self-hate. And that's something I discussed with the colorism and texturism within my own life experience. Because of the images we are shown from society through media, and by media, I mean TV, movies, even books, and now with the social media, which that wasn't always a thing, but it has become increasingly more prevalent in how we receive and process information. So much gets pushed out to, I know from personal experience that it makes you feel undesired as a black girl. It makes you feel like because you don't look like this, you're not worthy of that. Because you're black, you shouldn't have this lifestyle. Because you're black, you can't live in this type of area. Because you're black, you can't. And sometimes it is very easy to internalize that and take it as, well, I'm just not good enough. And I'm not saying that that's the case for every black woman, because God bless the black women who are just confident, you know? I love, admire, and respect y'all so much. I will be y'all one day. I actually kind of am y'all now. I just have my moments with like my body image, but that's a personal problem. That's not about society. But yeah, like we internalize these things and we question our own identity and our own individuality and our beauty. And we say we're not worthy of this because we look like that. We're not worthy of that because we look like that. Like we somehow make it our fault that people don't see us the way we deserve to be seen. And that breaks my heart because Black women are so beautiful. I could name 5 Black women right now off the top of my, I could name 10 Black women off the top of my head that are beautiful, not only physically, but energetically and socially and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I want y'all to in the comments if you've watched this far. Name some Black women that you admire and think are beautiful. Even if it's your mama. She's a Black woman. As long as she a Black woman. That's, you know, what the whole point is. Jim Crow and them did such a good job. Ironically, I don't actually support what they preached, okay? They did such a good job at breaking Black people down and separating us to the point where it's like, I'm better than you because I'm light skinned. I'm better than you because my hair isn't 4C texture and it's not kinky and nappy. And as someone with mixed texture, because when I put that product in it, that's all that matter. And if I don't want to put no product in it, that don't matter either. Like the Black girl who had to come defend herself on TikTok while she's on an HBCU campus walking to her boyfriend's dorm with her hair undone. First of all, it's nighttime. Why y'all pressed about how I look? Second of all, I'm going to my boyfriend's room. This hair was gonna get messed up anyway, no shade. If you know, you know. So the self-hate is sometimes internalized and other times projected onto other people because you don't think your hair is cute enough or appropriate for outside. You feel like every Black girl should be like that. Because I don't feel comfortable going outside in a messy bun. You shouldn't, because if your hair look like that, you don't need to be wearing no messy bun. Listen to me. I'm about to say something controversial, but I want you to stay with me, okay? White people appropriate almost everything we do, almost everything we wear. They copy our lips, our butts. They marry our men and make mixed babies. But I think it's time we take some of their stuff. Girl, rock that messy bun with your 4C edges. Are you fucking kidding me? Walk outside in your slippers and pajama pants and mother frickin' messy bun. Absolutely. With your Stanley cup. You better. Do it. Do it. Yeah, like, and that goes back into the respectability politics and stuff like that. Listen to me. If I want to go outside looking a certain way, you don't think I know how I look? Why is it your problem that I'm walking around presenting myself like this? And who are you to judge? It's not your business. It's not your life. If you feel like you always have to go outside with your hair done up, that's your thing. And you do that for you. But don't expect that from everybody because, listen, I'm going to live my own life. Huh? And that's just what it is. And respectability politics goes, of course, back to back as long as you could think. There was a point in time where Black women had to have our hair straight because we had to assimilate in society in order to be seen as upstanding citizens. Nowadays, how women walk around in jeans and leggings and shorts and stuff like that, there was a point in time we couldn't. We had to be outside in dresses and petticoats and bustiers and stuff like that. We had to go outside looking our best every single day, no matter what. Because if not, we were going to be talked about. We were going to be bashed. We might get harassed or assaulted. There was a point in time we had to cover our hair because white women were pressed. Just to put it in simple terms. They were pressed about our crowns. And if I'm not mistaken, they were upset and a little jealous because men were clocking us. Men were looking at Black women like, oh shit, look at her. And they said, cover that up. Be modest. How dare you? We got labeled as Jezebels. Oh, that's a whole other thing. Sorry if that was too loud. I love you. But the respectability politics is so irritating because this is a time period where I could wear whatever I want, and I'm going to. But it sucks that we even had to go through that. Like, thank you, Madam CJ Walker, for holding it down. But honestly, perms have taken quite a toll on our people. I'm not gonna act like I never wanted to try the creamy crack. I had a texturizer once. It didn't do much. But either way, I remember perming my mom's hair when I was a little girl and stuff like that. And once I learned what it was, I was like, "Mom, why are you doing this to your hair?" And of course, it was a personal preference for her. But either way, it's something that has been so ingrained in our people that it became something you do without even thinking twice about it. And that kind of hurts me because we're literally chemically altering our hair to make it straight. And then there's always going to be some ignorant motherfucker who says, "You trying to be white." No. And that sucks. That sounds so unfortunate. And unfortunately, it is the reality of the world we live in. On a lighter note, though, let's talk about the beauty of Black women. Black women are so versatile. You got the hood Black girl, you got the alternative Black girl, you got the hippie Black girl, you got the athlete Black girl, you got the bookworm Black girl, you got the anime Black girl, you got the what they would consider Oreo, but that's that could be interpreted in a bunch of different ways. But you got the Black girls, the preppy Black girls, the suburban Black girls, the college educated Black girls, the high school dropout Black girls, the college dropout Black girls. That's me. You got the artistic Black girls. That's also I'm basically all of these, honestly. You got the dancer Black girls. You got the cooking Black girls. You got the mamas, the oldest sister Black girls. I love Black women. I love being a Black woman. And even with our plight, I don't think I would want to be anything else. I just wish our history wasn't what it is. Because I think it would be 10 times easier to operate in this world if we didn't face all the stuff we have faced generation by generation by generation by generation. However, I do believe it has led us to a certain strength and resilience that is not seen in anybody else, including Black men. Yeah, I said it. Come at me in the comments. Come on with that engagement, baby. But seriously, we have a strength and resilience that is unmatched. And some people, this is a conspiracy theory to some, but other people believe that Black women are the mother of all mothers. And I'm not talking about the girls. I'm talking about humankind. There are theories that Black people are the original people on Earth. And sometimes I do be believing that because Black women are so powerful. That reads a mother of all mothers to me. I don't know. Also, let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. I just want y'all to comment on everything. I do, actually. I really do, though. Because it lets me know y'all are listening. And interaction is important. So thanks again for that. But yeah, Black women are so beautiful, even with all the struggle we have faced and are currently facing. I love you, Black woman. I love you so much, Black woman. And I'm saying these words and looking at myself, but I'm also looking at you. I'm rooting for us. Everything we want and desire is ours, will be ours, is already ours. We are powerful. We are amazing. We are strong even when we don't want to be. We are resilient even when we don't want to be. We are intelligent. We are talented. We are versatile. We deserve appreciation, admiration, respect. We deserve all the things. I appreciate my mom for making me because she a Black woman. I appreciate Beyonce. I appreciate Megan Thee Stallion. I appreciate my great grandma. May she rest in peace. I appreciate Claudette Colvin. I appreciate every Black woman who has shaped me into the woman I am today, whether our experience was good or bad. Oh my gosh, I feel like I did forget some things in terms of like Black women being jealous of each other, but if anything, I'll record that tomorrow. But yeah, y'all, if you're not a Black woman, I hope you still enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Give me a like if you did. And please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you if you're already subscribed. If you're not, I have a 500 subscriber goal. I'm currently at 58, almost at 60. Woot, woot. So please feel free to subscribe, share this video with somebody else that you feel like needs to be educated on this topic. And And yeah, happy Black History Month again. I hope y'all had a wonderful Black History Month, even with all the craziness. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, free Tigray, free Haiti, free Yemen, free the world, free Lebanon, free the world. I love you. I hope you love you. And I hope you love me. But baby, if you don't, it is quite all right. Because I love me enough for the both of us. Peace!